Very moment of silence. पहन लो अपने black armbands. That is the kind of reaction to India's record-breaking win. Bazball has died. This is of course a slight over-dramatization. अगर आप क्रिकेट का इतिहास जानते हो कि जब इंग्लैंड पहली बार हारी थी ऑस्ट्रेलिया के खिलाफ, this is the kind of advertisement that gave birth to the Ashes. So now, several years later, 150 years later, Bazball, the new identity of the England team, has died at Rajkot after a record-breaking defeat to India, and the Ashes will be taken to Lords, which has a very similar press box as Rajkot, among other things. Back in studio are we. आज होने जा रहा था 5वें दिन का खेल, लेकिन शाम के 5 बजे we are all free because India have wrapped up the third test and they've taken a 2-1 lead. There is so much to discuss, so much to appreciate about the Indian team. Reaction भी काफी सारे आ रहे हैं, लेकिन picture अभी बाकी है. There's still 2 tests left. So on FTB Live, it's a very warm welcome. Rohan Deshmukh, I'm so happy to see you in the flesh. Oh, good to see you, man. And George Binoy. What a debut for George. George, welcome.
It's not my debut, but anyway.
It's our debut together, yes. 3 of us together. Yeah. Stop it, okay? Don't get technical about these things now. 434 run defeat though. I guess that is the first question asking. Now, Bazball has not worked. Can we say that though?
So, yeah, it definitely didn't work in this test, but it should not take away, I think the focus should be on how well India fought back on that third day after England were 207 for 2 in 35 overs. India bowled very, very well through Kuldeep Yadav and then later Mohammad Siraj. And I think no matter which team played what approach, India would have been hard to stop on that day the way they played. Kuldeep bowled 12 overs in that first session. He was amazing. I've not seen him bowl better in Test cricket.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point on appreciating the Indian team more so than criticizing England. लेकिन सवाल सबके मन में यही है कि how did England collapse so badly? रोहित शर्मा, the Indian captain, ने इसके बारे में थोड़ा कुछ तो कहा because we were not expecting such a glorious collapse, अगर मैं उस तरह से कह सकता हूँ, क्योंकि रोहित शर्मा कह रहे थे कि हमें लगा कि 5वें दिन तक तो जाएगा ही खेल. चौथे दिन तक सिर्फ 40 ओवर थे. वो गिनती कर रहे थे कि कितने ओवर लगेंगे टू गेट 10 इंग्लैंड विकेट्स इन द 4th इनिंग्स. दैट वाज द बिगर क्वेश्चन. और शर्मा जी ने कहा कि 130 ओवर काफी होंगे क्योंकि बोर्ड पे जितने रन थे वो तो काफी ही थे. इट वुड हैव बीन अ रिकॉर्ड चेस. इट वाज जस्ट गोइंग ऑन एंड ऑन. मे बी दे वर प्लेइंग फॉर सम माइलस्टोन्स बिकॉज द टाइम वाज सर्टेनली नॉट अगेंस्ट देम. लेकिन चौथे दिन पे 40 ओवर के अंदर इंग्लैंड की चौथी पारी सिमट जाएगी और ऑल आउट हो जाएंगे, इसकी उम्मीद रोहित शर्मा को भी नहीं थी. which is in a way telling us a little bit about how even the Indian captain is surprised as to how they've fallen. So can we think that, like George said, कि हाँ भाई इस टेस्ट में नहीं चला, but they're still dangerous, कि अब इसके बाद रिकवर नहीं कर पाएंगे?
फर्क पड़ा है, क्लियरली फर्क पड़ा है, बिकॉज आफ्टर द फर्स्ट टेस्ट मैच वेर कहीं ना कहीं वी थॉट कि यार इंडिया वर कहीं ना कहीं फंस गए हैं, that they are not able to reply to how England is batting against them. We saw them come back, but there were shades of Bazball in the way Yashasvi and Sarfaraz also batted, right? I mean, aggressive Bazball cricket मतलब क्या aggressive cricket है?
Correct.
Aggressive cricket हम इंडिया में कब से देख के आ रहे हैं? Mind goes back to Virendra Sehwag, right?
Yes, of course.
Mind goes back to Virendra Sehwag. It's not something
which we have not
claim कर सकते हैं भाई aggressive cricket हम ही खेल सकते हैं. एक बात ये है कि हमेशा कहा जाता है कि want to make it look entertaining, कहीं ना कहीं अपने जाल में फंसे हैं, because yesterday सिचुएशन वैसा नहीं था ना कि आप अगर 2-3 विकेट 4 विकेट अगर गिर गए तो उसके बाद you can continue to play aggressive cricket. You have to go back to old school cricket. And the way have you seen the reaction of English media, former England cricketers, किस तरह से वो बरसे इस टीम पर कि यार if you are
this
going
is
to
the greatest ever and what not.
सिचुएशन के हिसाब से खेलो.
Yes, exactly.
सिचुएशन के हिसाब से खेलो. चलो ठीक है, आपको पता है 2 दिन है आपके पास एंड इतने सारे रन बनाने हैं, तो आई थिंक इट वाज somewhere it made easy for India because उनको पता था कि
India and India have just played a normal test match, haven't they? It's not like aggressive style of batting only was on display. What Jadeja had to do on day 1 in the first innings with Rohit Sharma, and then to put yourself so far ahead in the game that any of your batters, I remember Cheteshwar Pujara striking at 80-90 when India were 300 ahead and need to get 400. So they've just played normal test cricket.
And that was the most impressive thing for me. India in the first 2 test matches didn't bat as well as they should have.
Yes.
This test match they were 35 for 3 and we thought, oh my god, again. But then the way they scored 445 in the first innings and then again 435 in the second innings, completely dominant batting performance, and this is going to, as Rohan said, it's going to tell on England.
Absolutely.
Because just 4 days to go until the next test. They've bowled almost 200 overs in this test. You know, lots of miles in the bowlers' legs.
Correct.
Yeah, so this is, it's definitely going to tell on them when they go to Ranchi.
बिल्कुल और भाई यही तो हमें खुशी देने वाली बात थी इस परफॉर्मेंस की कि द यंग प्लेयर्स स्टूड अप वी थॉट इंडिया हैव एन इनएक्सपीरियंस बैटिंग बट द स्टैंड आउट परफॉर्मर्स जयसवाल सरफराज ध्रुव जुरेल and the bowling coming together, so it's quite a story. But if we have to just focus on whether England can respond, as George said, that's a question we asked Matthew Hayden as well, कि क्या वापसी कर पाएंगे England team with this Bazball approach? Let's listen in.
I think it's India all the way. Look, I was thinking about this morning when I was looking at the results. India as an away side or a touring team is challenging for this reason. It's a battle of energy and conservation of that resource, which is very limited. Actually, it equals it all. It's a one great level, actually. We all get equal amounts of it. But in India, when the conditions, you're having to think about the conditions, you're having to adapt to the conditions. They're not your home conditions. The game just keeps coming at you. The spectators keep on coming at you. The game and the country just keeps on, coming at you because there's this great energy around winning in India, especially against England. And you could probably put Australia on that list as well, especially now. But you have to be a guru. And you have to have a mindset of stillness just to be able to survive mentally there. So when you get behind the eight ball, and you've seen England already in this series get themselves, in front of games, but not be able to sustain it. And that's purely because of just the relentless nature of having to keep turning up every moment. Every ball, every over, every session, it is just, if you take the game, even the shorter versions for granted in India, you can lose 4 wickets like that. There's not too many countries or venues around the world that happens. So it is a constant, and that's why, the nature of someone like a Virat Kohli, for example, or Rohit Sharma, who got a great 130 in the last Test match. They understand the value and the benefit of actually just being quite still, quite zen-like in their approach, but then being up in the face and up in the energy of individuals as well when they need to. So, yeah, look, I think it's all over she wrote for Bazball and England. But I really believe they also, highly commend the way that they're approaching Test match cricket, and they've seen some, we've seen some good performances already from Team England.
अंदर ही अंदर खुशी छिपा रहे थे मैथ्यू हेडन इंग्लैंड को 434 रन से हारते हुए देखिए किस ऑस्ट्रेलियन बल्लेबाज को दुख होगा भाई बट इट्स अ रिकॉर्ड एंड इट्स एन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रिकॉर्ड गिवन हाउ वेल दिस इंग्लैंड टीम हैज बीन प्लेइंग फॉर द लास्ट 12 to 18 months ever since the pair of Stokes and McCullum took over. It's a record for India and they'll be looking at a series that is now certainly theirs to lose, but you say this carefully because they also now have to pay the price for what they had to do in the first 3 series. Jasprit Bumrah बड़े गेंदबाज है, उन्होंने कभी 5 मैच की सीरीज घर पे बैक टू बैक नहीं खेली है एंड हिज वर्कलोड इज समथिंग इंडियन क्रिकेट नीड्स टू मॉनिटर विद द आईपीएल एंड द वर्ल्ड कप. और खबर यही है रोहन कि ही इज लाइकली टू बी रेस्टेड और ही इज गोइंग टू बी रेस्टेड फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट टेस्ट मैच एंड हाउ डज दैट अफेक्ट थिंग्स क्योंकि एक तरह से बुमराह इज अ बिग पार्ट ऑफ द प्लान वेदर ही गेट्स बैग्स ऑफ विकेट्स और नॉट.
आई थिंक जस्ट ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड कि क्यों रेस्ट की बातें हो रही है. ही केम बैक इन दैट आयरलैंड T20 सीरीज, उसके बाद जो है एशिया कप, वर्ल्ड कप एंड फ्रॉम दी साउथ अफ्रीका सीरीज से जो है ना अब तक साउथ अफ्रीका में 2 टेस्ट मैच खेल चुके हैं, यहाँ पे 3 टेस्ट मैच खेल चुके हैं. टोटल नंबर ऑफ 5 टेस्ट मैचेस इन अ स्पैन ऑफ a month and a half already for him. So I'm sure the GPS जो वेस्ट ये लोग पहनते हैं ना, सारे खिलाड़ी पहनते हैं, there must be some data which must have gone to the strength and conditioning coach in terms of how much of workload has Bumrah put in. Consider that he didn't practice ahead of the Rajkot test also. मतलब उनको कहीं ना कहीं बताया था कि आपको थोड़ा ना जो है आराम की ज़रूरत है. बुमराह का अगर ये देखा जाए तो इंजरी से उन्होंने वापसी की है.
Yes.
So let's understand. I think Indian team management कहीं ना कहीं एक बात सोच रही है. Let's preserve our best, considering that the World Cup is also a few months down the line. And the fact that you have Siraj coming back, Siraj bowled really well. बहुत अच्छी तरह से गेंदबाजी की. मुकेश कुमार जो है शायद वापस आ सकते हैं. I think India can afford to give rest to Bumrah in Ranchi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going through the workload Joe Bumrah had to endure in these first 3 test matches. So that's coming down to almost 90 overs of bowling that he's done. So it's not been an easy series for him. Or ek tarah se, I think they also planned for this because Siraj was given a rest after 1 test. And now hopefully there's a little more confidence because after the first test, Siraj didn't look like he had any impact. But can they manage without Bumrah? They have to.
Yeah, well, they have to. And the point Rohan made is valid. If Bumrah feels like he needs rest, he has to be given rest. It's too valuable a player to risk, even if the series is on the line, because there is a World Cup coming up, Who will come in? Likely Mukesh Kumar and Siraj. Yes, you saw the break that he got, what a difference it made to his bowling in Rajkot. Was able to get a reverse swing at pace and trouble England. So yeah, he will be the leader of the pace attack, and likely then Mukesh Kumar will come back in for Bumrah.
For Bumrah, because Rohit Sharma seems to like 2 seamers. नहीं तो मैं सोच रहा था कि maybe अगर Turner अब फिर से अभी Turner दे दो ना खत्म कर लो 2-1 से आगे हो, it might happen. But in all seriousness, we thought they could play.
Little bit difficult to make a Turner in Ranchi.
In Ranchi.
Yes.
There have been slow games, slow surfaces anyway. But in all seriousness, whether they can entertain the thought of an extra spinner, they dropped Akshar Patel there and they stuck to their balance. I think the batting now will be more confident anyway. So you normally play Akshar.
Yeah, hearing KL is also likely.
And now KL Rahul, which takes us to the next big story. At least the batting will be strengthened. Now, unfortunately, is it obvious with how the test match went कि किसकी जगह लेंगे? Poor Patidar.
Yes, but he had an opportunity. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate. Couple of the dismissals were like actually soft dismissals. No? Well, it's like one of those unfortunate ways of getting out in a test match. But with KL obviously coming back, you have like a solid middle order now.
Yeah, unfortunately for Patidar, he got 2 balls that stuck in the pitch and stopped on him, and he ended up scooping one to cover and the other one to mid wicket. So, yeah, unfortunately he will miss out, and I hope that it's we see him again in the future. But for now, KL walks in straight for him, in for Patidar, and strengthens that Indian batting order, which is now looking suddenly very solid.
Yeah, and I mean, it's little things like this, right? 3 wickets jab jaldi gire, they decided to hold Sarfaraz back, not send him in a really pressured situation on day 1. Or Patidar, बिचारे उनको दोनों ही innings में, the second innings is not as much under pressure, but it's little things like that. Sarfaraz, full credit to him, but that's the difference in getting a score that keeps you in the team versus when KL Rahul comes back. So that augurs well. For India, that's pretty much it. I think it's been a great story though for Indian cricket. And now India favourites. I mean, I certainly think it's their series to lose now. Ben Stokes ने कहा है कि हम वापसी कर सकते हैं. We could still win it 3-2. I find that very difficult after this kind of defeat.
They were ready to chase 600 also, right? That's never been. That's never happened. The other day we were discussing, right? 320 enough.
Yeah,
you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I was saying you could have just, you should have just told them that time only, but then we wouldn't have had a double 100
Obviously,
for Jaiswal.
man. We've got to see a great knock from Jaiswal. Great partnership.
I mean, it would be. They should be careful before taking this England team lightly, though. You never know.
Yes, absolutely. This England team does have a lot of character, at least, in their leadership. Skills on the field is a different matter. Whether their bowlers can raise their game in Ranchi. But India will definitely not take this English team lightly.
All right. Thank you very much to George Binoy and Rohan Deshmukh. Well, it was nice to actually have this chat together.
Let's be here.
Let's just stay. We are going to stay here and we're going to try and get you all the very latest from Indian cricket, because this is the show where you get all the latest that you can imagine and ask for. Badi Jeet India ke liye, we look forward to the next test. We look forward to your company tomorrow. Follow us on our social handles at Star Sports India, and we will see you again very soon, 5 p.m. tomorrow on FTB Live. Bye-bye.